Honestly, here's what I think. Actually, I don't think. I know. I figured it out. Jacquelina is nice, but she got an evil twin sister named Wackalina, and the producers be switching them out to improve the ratings. If not, then Jacqueline is just crazy. All right, welcome to Taste Take. If you're new here, we've been breaking down Love is Blind Season 4. Last week, we went through episodes 1 through 5, and today, we're breaking down episodes 6, 7, and 8. If that's something you're into, hit that subscribe button for your boy. For my regular Taste Takers, let's see if episodes 6, 7, and 8 can really do something for me. Get it? Because like 6 plus 7 plus 8 equals 21. Duh. Never mind. All right, before we get into these new episodes, I got a couple little housekeeping items. And this first housekeeping item is more important than anything I'm going to talk about in all these episodes. So just pay attention for like 2 little seconds. A huge freaking shout out to all of you. You guys made my video for episodes 1 through 5 one of my most viewed videos in my whole little YouTube career. Freaking thank you. If you are new to this Taste Take party, welcome. Shout out to you. You guys made a good decision. We're back again for another one. That's so cool. But also, even bigger shout out to the people that was already here. Like, damn, like y'all been rocking with me. That's enough. Thank you. I appreciate that. Number 2, a lot of people was getting at me in the comments about my red flag breakdown and like how I was like, Jacqueline didn't have no red flags. The red flags were only for like the intro conversations, like when we first met them and their first couple dates in the pods. So it wasn't like they had no red flags for all the episodes. It was just like initial thoughts. Just relax. And then the last thing y'all was talking about in the comments, a couple people said like, Tate, how come you got the ages wrong? You're saying the wrong ages, and then the freaking pictures got different ages. Okay, when I'm writing my little notes, I was just going off what they say in the show. The show is recorded like in the past, and then these images are new. So like people are just growing up. Boom, episode 6. I've said it once, and I'll say it a million times. Netflix, stop with the thumbnail spoilers. Like, we left episode 5 with Zach and Bliss on that little date, and we're not supposed to know if she's gonna give him another chance or whatever. But the freaking thumbnail for episode 8 got them all canoodling, getting all close, like they're about to make out. So like, obviously we know that they're still together. So again, just stop doing that. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one that's thinking about this, and it's not a huge deal. We weren't surprised that she gave him another chance, but like, come on, man, you could pick any little photo. Just pick a different picture. All right, so for real, the episode starts with the crew packing up and leaving Mexico. They give Irina some TV time, and she's talking about, yeah, well, maybe down the line, if I realize that I can't stop thinking about Zach, I'll give him a call. Like, the fact that she thinks this dude is going to be sitting around waiting for her is unbelievable. Get out of here. Then they do an aggressive cutover back to Bliss and Zach at the restaurant, and he's telling her like how much of a terrible time he had with Irina, and how when he told Bliss no, he realized immediately that he fucked up, but it was too late. But it wasn't too late, because you didn't even propose to Irina yet. Clean it up, Zach. And he's telling her that there's more than one person for people, and I'm gonna tell you right now, Zachary, that may be true, but Irina was not one of them. So Bliss is here taking it all in. She even brings up Cupcake Gate, which is like funny for TV, but probably like bringing up some old wounds for her. And is it just me, or does she talk a little annoying? Like a little nasally? Like, is it annoying how she talks? Just me? Okay. Anyway, we'll get back to them, but the whole time Bliss was trying to play hard to get, but I think she was into it. You're not low. We go back to Kwame and Chelsea, and they're talking about cleaning duties. She's asking this man if he knows how to vacuum. And at 30 plus, you might as well ask this dude if he knows how to read. Then they're breaking down where the dishes go between the counter and the sink and the dishwasher, and he's telling her that sometimes he'll go to sleep with dishes in the sink, and she's disgusted by that. And that's because it's disgusting. I don't know how anyone could ever go to sleep with dishes in the sink. Because sometimes you're just tired. Anyway, then he brings up how she doesn't flush all the time. And I don't know how that's not more gross than leaving your dishes out. Like, she's trying to say that it's because she doesn't want to wake him up. But I think that's gross. And that's it. These are the conversations we're getting between Kwame and Chelsea. Then we're off to Mika and Paul for some conversations that actually matter. Because apparently, Irina reached out to Mika and told her the truth that she was into Paul. And she's like, Paul, did you know about this? And Paul's over there like, well, yeah, I didn't want to say anything, but when we were in the pool, she was getting a little touchy-feely with me. Also, like an related side note, like the absolute irony of Mika not seeing this Irina and Paul flirt sesh because she was in the cut talking to Kwame is blinding. So Paul's like, yeah, she was getting a little flirty, but I didn't think anything of it. And people, I bring to you the beauty of reality TV because people in real life have these kind of conversations and we can say whatever we want. But the beauty of having these 4K cameras is that we could run it back. And the good old people at Netflix brought it back. And to be honest, before I started watching these new episodes, I didn't think we were going to have any oh my golly wally moments, but here we are. I'm proud to present our episode 6 entry, sponsored, of course, by Paul and Irina. Because our producers here at Love is Blind headquarters gave us the footage that we needed in crystal clear 4K. And you can totally see that Paul grazed Irina's left titty with his foot. But you know what they say, the feet are the hands of the legs. No? They don't say that? Okay. Anyway, we'll get back to that at the reunion. But for right now, Mika said that put some doubt in her head. Then we're over to Marshall and Jacqueline, and she's telling him that she wants to bring her lava lamp over to the new place. That's not important. What is important is that when he told his family, they were cool with it. When she told her family about all this, they were not cool with it. They told her that this ain't you. Because Marshall's like, do you think they want to meet me? And she's like, I hope so. Translation, that means no. Couple quick scenes here. We're over to Tiffany and Brett, and she's telling him how much of a neat freak she is and how she hates when there's water on the floor when you get out the shower. And honestly, I had to ask myself, like, how do you not get the water on the floor when you get out the shower? Like, is she getting dressed in the tub? Because when I get out, it'd be sprinkling. But if I was living with her, I wouldn't be able to get out. Then we're back over with Mika and Paul, and they decide that they're going to meet up with Zach and Irina. But like separately. Then we get to Chelsea showing Kwame her apartment for the first time, and everything in there is pink. She explains that her ex was super controlling with the decor, so now that she's on her own, pink. And that's really whatever, because I've seen she has some Ritz crackers up in there, so she's officially a real one with me. I know y'all don't know about no damn Ritz. Then she goes on to explain how lonely it is being single sometimes, that like she'll even FaceTime her friends while she eats. And that's kind of heavy, because like maybe that's why she's going so hard for Kwame. Like, she just doesn't want to eat alone. We switch over to Brett and Tiffany, and he's meeting some of her friends for the first time. And they're asking all the right questions. I can't even front. They even confirmed that they call her Miss Sleeping Beauty. So I guess trying to make him feel better, after she fell asleep on his ass. Overall, it really does seem like a good group of friends, though, like way better than Ravens from last season. These girls seem to just love them some Tiffany, especially Christy, because like she was crying like a lot. Because for a second, and I thought like maybe they had a little, because I'm thinking like she's crying a lot, so like maybe they had a thing prior, because they seemed just like, more than friends. Okay, sheesh, I'm just saying. Yeah, okay, yeah. You could cry for your friends. Okay, got it. Sheesh, you guys are crazy. We move on to this Zach and Paul meetup, and Zach asks Paul like, why do you like Mika? And he's like, well, she's not as analytical as I am. He said that, and then he did the push. Y'all keep that? That's crazy. All right, listen to me. This is important. This whole scene, y'all all owe Zach an apology. This dude is nice. Y'all were bullying him. And we all just need to look at ourselves and just say, hey, we got it wrong. This little monologue he has about the cost of always waiting for the next best thing. Listen, Zach, okay, you're real. I'm telling you, if you're going to rewatch something, it's this scene right here in episode 6, and then go and tell Zach that you're sorry you didn't even mean it. Then we go to the Mika meeting with Irina. Irina literally greets her by saying, hi, crazy bitch. Girl, you tried to smash her man, the day after you got engaged. I assure you, she's not the crazy one. Irina is so insecure, it's like bleeding into my living room. There's gonna be so many therapists in her DM after this show. Like, I hope she takes them up on their offer. Anyway, Irina's like word vomiting this whole thing. Did you meet his family? Are you guys wedding planning? But Mika's not having any of that shit. Irina's like, you don't have to worry about my feelings for Paul. And Mika's like, girl, I could literally give a fuck. I know he's not into you. But now we're back with Marshall and Jacquelina, and he's cooking breakfast for her. Respectfully, my pancakes go harder, but I know a real one when I see it, because he got that Aunt Jemima syrup. And honestly, I've been calling for y'all to apologize to Zach. You know, maybe I owe Marshall an apology of my own. Jackie's over there talking about how she never got treated like this. Like, girl, this is breakfast. What kind of men do you date? Unfortunately, we all know the answer to that. Last scene of the episode here, and we're with Kwame and Chelsea, and she's making a huge deal about him meeting her dad. It's like this crazy buildup where she's acting just a little weird. Like, is your dad racist or what? Also, is Kwame kind of condescending when he talks to her? I've been noticing that a little bit here and there. I just want to know if y'all also see that too. At the end of the episode, he says, look, do you trust me? And 30 minutes later, Chelsea says, yeah. Boom, episode 7. Chelsea's dad finally pulls up and Netflix calls him Charles. Disrespectful. She just explained how he likes to be called Charlie. Y'all starting trouble. Anyway, she's here explaining the concept of Love is Blind to her dad. I don't know how this dude never watched the show. You need to get on it. You sleep right now. And then after you watch the show, you head on over to Tate's Take for the Okay. She's explaining the show to him like she's explaining to him that white kids and black kids go to the same schools now. But the whole thing's one big Netflix setup because this dude is actually just like a nice, normal guy. Quick side note here, and one of these days, y'all gonna listen to me. Because remember last week, I was talking about those chicken wings? All right, cool. This scene right here, keep your eyes on Kwame's plate. The salad appears and disappears, and then reappears again. Like, clean that up. All right. The actual important scene here is that Kwame asks Charlie if he can have his daughter's hand in marriage, which is very respectable. I don't think they always do that on Love is Blind. I'm sure there's people have done it in the past, but it's still pretty cool to see, even if he asked for no reason. Then we go over to Paul and Mika, where she's about to meet his mom, Elizabeth. Elizabeth pulls up like the unsinkable Molly Brown, and the first thing we know is that she's immediately obsessed with Mika. Low-key, she's probably more obsessed with Mika than Kwame is. Elizabeth tells Mika that Paul is the baby Jesus of the family, and I don't even know what to even make of that right there. She also says how they Googled Mika and her whole family after Paul gave them her name, which, like, I guess we would all do, but probably not talk about it on TV. You know? Like, okay, Joe from You. I guess the whole thing here is that Mika reminds him of his mom, and maybe that's why he likes her. All right, now we're over with Brett and Tiffany. She's seeing his place for the first time. She tells him that she has a roommate. Now, this is just a question for the group. It's just a question. Is it a red flag for her to be 37 with a roommate? No. I'm just asking questions. All right, so we're at Brett's house, and I ain't gonna lie, this dude's shoe game is legit. If you work at Nike, your shoe game gotta be lit, and his shit's fire. And she's also impressed with how neat he is. So before she was talking about splashing the water out the tub, but now she was probably like, damn, this dude's pretty neat. But then she's looking at the closet space, and she's like, it's a little tight. And then she's looking at the desk, and she's like, your desk is right there, but like, where would I work from home? And Brett's like, well, okay, cool. Like, what I could do is, if you like this building, I could just get a bigger room, like a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom. Is that cool with you? Tiffany's looking at him like, pretzels. Then she's like, yeah, I can see myself living here. Yeah, I bet you could. Not because she has roommates. Relax. Next scene, we got Bliss and Zach at his place, and he's cooking for her. She's trying to help, but she admits that she doesn't know how. But maybe neither does Zach, because he just ruined the steaks. I don't even know what he was trying to do, but those steaks were definitely marinating in water. And if I was ignorant, I would say, maybe that's how white people cook steak. All right, this is serious. He reminds her, like, look, we still have the shrimp, and we have each other. And she's like, we have each other. We'll see about that. Girl, you're at his house at night in a red dress. Cut the shit. My man Zach apparently has motion detectors on his doors that play different sounds when you open them. And he set up a Harry Potter sound for when she opened up his bedroom door like any true player would. Now they're dancing in the kitchen. He probably opened up a cabinet door and Celine Dion started playing. Like, did Zach and Bliss become my favorite couple? How about you guys? Then went over to not my favorite couple, Kwame and Chelsea, and she's seeing his apartment for the first time. And Kwame is the proud sponsor of our oh my golly wally moment of episode 7. This dude Kwame is living in filth. Now, of course, it's one thing to have a messy apartment from time to time, but you went away on a reality show for weeks and left your place looking like that? And she doesn't even seem fazed by this. He sleeps on his couch every night. This dude got lube and COVID tests in the same drawer. She's like, you know, I thought that the mess would bother me more than it did, but one time he organized my underwear. This poor girl really doesn't want to eat alone. Then they got a fight about where to live because Kwame lives in Portland, she's in Seattle. And she's like, wow, Portland's really nice. And he's like, do you want to move here? She's like, no. Like, bro, she does not work remote. You work remote. Go to Seattle. It's like 5 minutes away. Relax. Like, this girl's whole family is in Seattle, and Kwame's favorite running path is in Portland. I'm like half kidding. The soccer thing is important, and friends are family. So like, I kind of get what he's saying. But enough about that. Let's get to the main event. Our lightweight championship fight between Jacquelina and Marshall. He's cooking for her again, and he asks her if she wants queso. And she tells him she's not a queso bitch. And 9 times out of 10, no. Actually, 999 times out of 1,000, that would be a joke. Plus also, who doesn't like queso? That's the red flag right there. Y'all happy I gave Jacqueline a red flag? But she's like dead serious right now. She's like, honestly, I'm just stressed out right now. I can't do this. And Marshall's like, do what? Meet my family? And she's like, no, that's whatever. Like, I mean like all of this. Okay. So Marshall's like, I could like delay this. And she's like, no, let's just knock it out. Like, she's treating meeting his family like doing laundry. Like, this is a big deal. Marshall doesn't even know what to say now. He's like, all right, I'm going to go have a Coke and a smile. She's like, all right, yeah, go have a Coke and a smile. Again, I think last week I may have come across a little hard on Marshall. So like I said, I owe this dude an apology. And I'm sorry that I use your name with other names like Marshall just to make it funny. That felt good. Anyway, she tells him that a lot of her stress is because her family doesn't support this. She is lying, because if she liked him, she wouldn't be saying that. Also, during the scene, she wasn't wearing her wedding ring. I don't know if y'all saw that. That's why you come to Taste Steak. I'm looking. She tells him she just needs a break. Girl, he offered you a break, and you said no. Now, his sister and brother-in-law are here, knocking at the door, and you gotta flip the switch. I don't know how much she flipped it, because did you hear how dry that high was? Ugh. I will say that the meet and greet got better as time went on, and I guess no one really noticed that they had just got done fighting, because his brother-in-law Ryan was like, you know, I could feel the aura of love in here. Like, Ryan, just relax. Like, that's how you know people just be saying stuff to say stuff. They even got this dude Ryan using the tagline. He's like, is love truly blind? Man, get out of here. You just want to be on TV. All right, 2 more quick things, and then we're out of here. Number 1, she did indeed put her ring back on. Good for her. Number 2, do we know that he wrote poetry? Like, I feel like I'm just hearing that for the first time. I don't think that's helping his case with Jackie. Better tell her you write raps. All right, then we go over to Mika and Paul. She's seeing his place for the first time. Paul got his couches off the street. I don't really know what else to say about this place besides that. Mika obviously hates this. The only thing I could think of is like, if she hates this, then like, what would she say if she actually liked Kwame and had to see his rat trap of an apartment? Anyway, so Paul's like, so can you see yourself living here? And she's like, no, you idiot. Mika lives in Arizona. So then she's like, do you see yourself going back and forth between Arizona and Seattle? And he's like, no. Okay, onward. We're back with Kwame and Chelsea, and we find out that he hasn't told his mom yet. So he calls her. Now this weirdo moment takes place where we hear him calling her on speaker. You can hear the phone ringing, but when she's talking, we don't hear anything. And he's talking to her like the CEO of a company that's doing layoffs. Yes, hello, mother. As you're well aware, I did embark on a Netflix journey. That journey was indeed successful. And I did unequivocally ask for someone, another human of the female form, her hand in marriage. But again, we can't hear anything she's saying. We just see what Kwame's saying. And he's just like, oh, you're mad? You said what? I should be with Mika? I don't know what that was, but we're out of there for now. Over to Tiffany and Brett, and she's cooking for him. She's also very interested in finding out if he feels overextended. He's like, what you mean by that? She's like, well, I know you like to dress really nice. I don't know why she's pocket checking this man. Is that a red flag? Or is it not even pocket checking because they're engaged? Just in the comments. I feel like y'all probably think I'm giving Tiffany a hard time today. I'm just asking a couple questions. Because then she's like, what's the most you ever spent on something? And he tells her that he once spent $1,200 on luggage. And she's acting like he said $12,000. And at the end of the day, are they splitting the mortgage or not? Like, the conversation was just so sloppy. Talking about finances with your partner is very important. I just think there's a better way to do it than this joke about, I'm not asking my partner to Venmo me for the rent. Like, so what are you doing about the rent or the mortgage? Like, what are you going to do? Also, her complaining about the $1,200 luggage, there's no way you're going to get me to believe that she doesn't have a $1,200 purse. I mean, I can't prove that, but, you know. Oh, yeah. So the whole episode comes to a close with Zach and Bliss on the boat. And Bliss doesn't know the name of any toy. She's calling Furbies, Furbos. She's calling Digipets, Diggopets. Either this girl got all her toys from Chinatown, or she really just has a terrible memory. Then they do the fruit ranking of pineapples, mangoes, and raspberries. And honestly, anyone who doesn't have raspberries in last place is a red flag. Another red flag, because she said that she would choose to meet Oprah out of anyone that's alive. Maybe that's just me though. But of course, Zach, the poet, is going to come correct when she flips it and says, who would you want to meet if you can meet anyone in this world? And my man Zach says, your parents. Boy, you better stop playing with Zach. Then he gets down on one knee and the rest is history. She says yes. I mean, after asking, what are you doing? But still, yes. Boom, episode 8. So Bliss says yes. And if we're being honest, the yes was a little dry for me. But either way, Zach has finally got his kiss. Congrats, bud. Then she's like, I should have just said no. And then, just kidding. Girl, literally, you shouldn't have. Next, we get two absolutely pointless scenes that I don't even know why I'm talking about right now. We go to Brett and Tiffany, and she drops the knife and picks it up. She just straight up 5-second ruled that thing, which I do love that for her. Then we go to Kwame and the freaking dog Rocky, and we get a scene where he calls Chelsea and says, are you coming home from work? And she says yes. Why would you even leave that in? Then we're off with Mika and Paul, where he's going to meet her parents, Paul and Patricia. Honestly, Mika's dad doesn't care about none of that shit. She's just happy that this dude's name is Paul. This whole meetup is super weird. Mika wants her parents to live with her and raise her kids. Then freaking Mika's dad's like, this dude could be a serial killer for all I know. But at least he's a Paul. What kind of shit is this? But I know for a fact, Patricia is not going for it. She does not trust this dude. All right, we're out of there. On to our first oh my golly wally moment, sponsored by Marshall and Jacquelina's evil twin, Wackalina. This is where we find out that she told him that he's not a man and he needs to boss up. So they have this whole fight about how they don't have sex. But based on my calculations, it's not exactly telling the whole story. Here's how I see it in my brain. He tries to canoodle with her in the bedroom. She hates him, so she blocks it. Then he stops trying because he's like, well, she does hate me, so this is not going to work. Then she says, we don't even have sex. It's like a vicious cycle based on one excuse that she can use just because she doesn't like him. She's like, let me just gather up all the excuses I can so I can leave this man in peace. So he's like, what do you want from me? And she's like, I want you to be more aggressive. And he's like, well, that's not who I am. And then she's like, all right, well, then that's it. And then Marshall did the unthinkable. He clapped in a black girl's face. Is she black? Let me just have both copies. And then Marshall did the unthinkable. He clapped in a brown girl's face. And then Marshall did the unthinkable. He clapped in a Hispanic girl's face. And then Marshall did the unthinkable. He clapped in a racially ambiguous girl's face. And she's like, who you clapping at? And he's like, you. And honestly, Marshall, that was a very interesting strategy that almost worked. But no, because then she's like, if you think I don't like you, then why are you even with me? And here is like the real OMGW moment. Yeah, because here he goes, you were a project. I thought I could fix you.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
And just when I was like, damn, she wanted aggressive, and she got aggressive, this dude folds like the amazing yen in Ocean's 11 And he's like, no, like, what I mean is not you're a project. What I mean is I see that you have limitless potential. I fucking love you. So then I don't know if you guys saw this on, your Netflix, because my shit is like 4K, like enhanced. Because then right after that, you see Wackalina run out the back door, and then Jacquelina runs through the kitchen and starts hugging Marshall and crying, saying, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Look, all jokes aside, this girl is not ready for marriage, and especially not with Marshall. That whole scene was just so intense. Like, I needed a cigarette. Then we're back with Tiffany and Brett, and Tiffany's trying to figure this dude out. She's like, I just don't get how you're not worried about this or stressed out. And he's like, girl, no, it's easy with you. I know that I love you and I want this. This is easy. This is effortless. You know what? Maybe this might work. Over to Bliss and Zach. And was I the only one to notice that Zach always does that little stare thing when he's talking? And maybe not always, but you know the one I'm talking about. When he's like this. You weren't my second choice. Great. Now I'm Irina. Ugh. Anyway, this is the scene where Bliss is going on and on and on about being engaged to someone who was just engaged. Like, girl, honestly, like, get over it. You said yes to the proposal. That means you had to be cool with it. Or am I tripping? Is she allowed to keep bringing this up? She feels like she's the second option, which honestly, she needs to watch this show back, because if anyone's the second option, it's Chelsea. Because Kwame liked Mika, got rejected, then went to Chelsea. Like, Zach liked both of you guys. So, And speaking of Chelsea and Kwame, we go over to them at the dog shower. And I didn't even know dog showers were a thing. You don't just wash your dog at your house? Anyway, for the first time in history, they're having a conversation that matters. Talking about kids. She wants kids like yesterday. And Kwame's like, oh, let's just chill for a little bit. You already got Rocky. Which is crazy to compare a child to an animal. She's asking him, do you even want to settle down? Which is kind of an unfair thing. Like, he could want to settle down, but like also not want kids at the moment, And he might not want to settle down. I just think that they're in two totally different places, which like would make sense if you met someone at a bar. Like, okay, cool. Like, who knows what they're on? But you guys both met on a show where you had to get married at the end. Like, what happened? Did Kwame just want to go on TV? Anyway, we are now on to Cringe Fest 2023. This is where Paul is about to meet Micah's friends, Shelby and Michaela. And remember whatever I said about Tiffany's friends? Well, these girls are the exact opposite. Paul's sitting there like, why am I even talking to these girls? So they're all there trying to communicate, but they're speaking two different languages. Paul's a scientist, and Paul talks like a scientist. These girls are not scientists. And they're like, we're not used to people being so articulate. So now Shelby starts to get annoyed, and she's like, I get easily angered. And Paul's like, I can't say that I care. What? I didn't think you had that in you, Paul. You better not let Jacqueline hear you talking about all that spice. So Paul removes himself from the situation. Now these two friends, who look like they just got off the set of White Chicks 2, are telling Mika that this ain't it. And Mika's like, wait, you're not with it? Girl, you just watched them roast him for 30 minutes. The fuck you mean you're not with it? Anyway, we're out of there. We're going from one birthday to another, because now it's Chelsea's birthday, and Kwame set up this party for her that's like also a reunion for the whole cast. And just to recap, the Marshall versus Jacqueline fight was an OMGW moment. The Paul versus Shelby fight was an OMGW moment. But now this whole party is damn near an OMGW moment, especially when DUI Josh comes stumbling in. All right, let's break it down. This is pretty much how the episode ends. First, Chelsea tells Kwame, oh wow, I love your pink shirt. Boom, 5 seconds later, Paul walks in. She's like, damn, Paul, I really like your style. And like looking at Kwame, you just gas this dude up. Then we got Josh, who just came off the set of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, buzzing around. The producers can't even keep up with this dude. Bliss and Zach pull up and catch everybody off guard. Mika's low-key hating. Marshall pulls up alone like a loser. Wait a minute. No, we're not doing this anymore. We're not doing that. Fix that. Marshall pulls up alone like an independent king. All right, now listen. There's been countless amounts of annoying reality show characters since the beginning of time. But there's nothing you can do to get me to believe that Josh, in this moment, was not top 5 all time. Ugh. And when he sees Brett, I see B nasty. Where do they even find this guy? And these parties are all about the different conversations. Like, you gotta just keep up with everything. So then we got Chelsea trying to comfort Marshall. She was like, hey, it's all good. Feed off this energy. Feel the love of the community. She's talking about the Love is Blind cast like it's a youth group. Tiff and Kwame talk, Bliss and Mika talk, pretty much just dragging Arena. I don't know what they're waiting for. Like, just bring her out. Brett and Marshall talk. And this is where, if you wasn't paying close enough attention, it's good that you came to Taste Take. Because this is where Marshall tells Brett that Jacqueline wants someone to slap her around. Like she wants that toxic love. Sheesh. I mean, that's heavy. And pretty much Marshall's like, look, that's not me. And I hope it's not true that she wants this. But it don't seem like it's not true. And then what happened next was probably the funniest moment in all 8 episodes of Love is Blind season 4 that was not supposed to be funny, even a little bit. Marshall tells Brett that Jacqueline doesn't say I love you. She says, I fuck with you tough. And how Brett didn't laugh in his face is beyond me. I guess he's like mature, but my God. Like, imagine Marshall fighting with Jackie about this. Like, Jackie, do you love me? Bro, I already told you I rock with you. Yeah, I heard you, but do you love me? Bro, you know you my mans. Yeah, I know I'm your mans, but like, do you love me? You already know I OD bang with you, fam. Like, how is that not funny? Unrelated, but Brett is wearing that ugly ass black and gold blazer, and Tiffany's probably looking for the receipt. Anyway, then Jackie comes through looking angry as hell. And Marshall can't read the room because he's like, hey, what's up, babe? You cold? You want my jacket? And she's like, no, thank you. I'm fine. It's going to mess up my outfit. And he's like, you sure you're not cold? I can give you my jacket. And she's like, no, thank you. It's going to mess up my outfit. So obviously he gave her his jacket and messed up her outfit. If these two get to the altar, I would be thoroughly shocked. All he was really trying to do is make sure that Josh couldn't see that ass. But the way that Josh is acting and the way that I think Jacqueline likes her men, they might elope. Then we get a conversation between Kwame and Mika. Like, just when I was starting to forget about them. They're doing the same song and dance they always do. I'm just so happy that you're happy. Yeah, me too. I'm really happy that you're happy. You're happy, right? I mean, yeah, I think I'm happy. Do you think you made the right decision? Well, sometimes I question it. Sometimes I question it too. And then sometimes I just think about you. Well, I think about you too. Maybe I'm miserable. Maybe I'm miserable too. You want to just get out of here? Then freaking Amber pulls up to the party. I almost forgot about her too. Kwame's looking like, Amber, hey, have you got a chance to talk to Paul yet? Then Kwame brings out the birthday cake, probably got the candles from Bliss. And we got the last 2 scenes of the episode. First, the most awkward thing you'll ever see on TV, this stupid ass fight between Josh and Marshall. Like, are they wrestling? When he walked away, we all had the same expression that Marshall did. What just happened? And you have the nerve to tell Marshall that you're Mr. Steal Your Girl? Then, of course, Josh wants one-on-one time with Jacqueline. Now, Bliss just got finished saying how she doesn't trust Josh. She doesn't like Josh. Boom. Josh walks over. It's Jacqueline, Bliss, and someone else. He's like, hey, can I steal your friend? They get up so quick. I thought that was your friend. Like, obviously, I'm sure the producers are like, look, we need this one-on-one time. Like, we need the footage. But, like, at least try. Like, you said that's your friend. So now they're having this one-on-one time, and Josh calls Marshall NBA Cryboy. And look, it's a good joke. It's a great joke even. But now is not the time. I'm watching this whole conversation with Josh Spice like, there's no way that she goes for this, right? Right? Like, there's no way like she would, right? Jacqueline is the reason they say that nice guys finish last. And that's pretty much episodes 6, 7, and 8. Wow, we made it through. Thanks for going on this journey with me. Again, if you like these videos, it's like super helpful to the channel if you like and subscribe to the channel. Again, if you're new here, freaking thank you. And to the OGs, like, you're the reason why we have new people. It's like cyclical is what they call it. I'll be back next week. We are doing episodes 9, 10, and 11. The Friday after that, we got the finale, episode 12. In the comments, I already told you a lot of stuff to talk about in the earlier part of the video, but you can talk about anything else. Like, it's a lot going on. What are your predictions? How terrible is Josh? Will she fall for Josh? She's not gonna fall for Josh. She's not gonna fall for Marshall, but she's not gonna fall for Josh. Right? Let me know. Thanks for the time, yo. Peace. They do a quick scene with Kwame and Chelsea where he calls her out for having her shoes on the bed. It's probably the blackest thing this